Welcome back to Ivy's Mindset, where we talk about money, the systems built around it, and what it means to you. Today, we are going to be talking about systems, and from what I've done, the research that I've done, it's actually quite obvious that people never pay attention to the systems that they're operating in, especially when it comes down to making money or boosting their financial status. People don't pay attention to the systems that operate around them. And by the end of this video, you are going to know what systems are and how they actually affect you and possibly the decisions that you're going to make in the near future. So now stay with me. So last week we spoke about value and we explained value at its core. We went over its components and we went over the processes behind value creation and why value is one of the major success stories or success factors for every entity that you can think of, be it any person, be it an organization, be it a society, be it a country, be it an economy, whatever we're talking about, you understand. We went over that, and for those of you who want clarifications on that, you can obviously go back to the previous video that we made last week. The description is going to be in the link below. But then for this week now, let's get everything started. We're talking about systems, and now let's continue. So essentially, this video begs to answer the question, after value, what next? After you engage in that process and you've got your value set in whatever form or in whatever shape you may want it to be, what happens next? What occurs next? What kind of problems do you think you're going to face? And what do you think the society, how do you think the society responds to you creating value? But then again, think about all the problems that value creates that one person cannot answer. Because in a society where everybody has something, and there is no order put in place, it's just going to turn into a jungle. It's going to be pure chaos because everybody now would want what another person has, and everybody has something. So typically, it's going to just become the survival of the fittest, where the strongest person in the society gets everything. Now, with all this in mind, now it's only human to think of a solution. But now, a solution to what problems? Now, a solution to what questions? What questions are we even asking? People ask, how do we measure value? How do we store value? And how do we exchange value? These three major things, these are the main problems that value creation creates. Every one of these questions demands an answer. And as civilization will have it, systems were the answers to these questions. Now, what are systems, you ask? So now, before we look in on anything, it's actually worth mentioning that there is no one particular definition of system. A system now has so many different definitions, especially when you're looking at it from different perspectives. Now, the perspectives now you may ask, let me just break it down to you in like just let me just give you 4 examples. Starting off with our number one example now, we're going to be talking about the biology system. So the system now in biology just refers to a group of organs that are working together to keep the body alive. Number two, we're talking about the computer system. So the computer system now relates to a group of interrelated, correlated components, which takes in input, processes it, and then gives you output. Sociology now, a system is defined as any structure put in place to coordinate the activities between human beings and how they relate to other entities, be it institutions, be it any other system. You get that kind of thing. And then this one is just general systems theory. So general systems theory is the broadest version of all of them. And it says that a system is simply any set of interrelated parts organized to function together towards a shared outcome or goal. All the definitions I gave circulate around the same core idea, which is coordination towards a certain result. But for the sake of this study, none of these definitions are actually built for the things we are about to cover. So now that begs a new question. What is system? Now, systems refers to any organized process used to solve any recurring problem. Now, with this definition, you see that a lot of things start making sense because if you're looking at the current civilization, if you're looking at the current world order now, you see that any form of system that is put in place by any economy, by any society, by any environment, it is specifically used to solve a particular problem. And this problem now, per se, it's not a one-time problem. It's something that always reoccurs. It comes one time after another, and that is why the system is always here to stay. Now you guys should zoom out. Now follow me, come back. When analyzing the systems of any given economic society, it is best to use the economic acronym PESTEL. PESTEL now refers to the political segment, the economic segment, the social-cultural segment, the technological segment, the ecological segment, and then lastly, the legal segments. So now these segments constitute of interrelated multiple stacks. It consists of interrelated multiple stacks of systems which exist to govern the activities of each and every part of this segment that I listed for you. Well, sadly enough, we cannot cover all of these branches today. But for today, we are going to focus on one particular segment, which is the financial system. Although you find this system under the economic segment, but then you catch my drift. Now, let's dive into it. Our main goal for this series is to study money from the ground up. So it's only obvious that we are going to follow the whole advent of civilization in itself. So now stay with me. Following the structural development of finance, before money, before anything fiat currency, before crypto, before all of this, it's already clear to us that the main birthplace of value exchange and finance originated from the trade by barter system. And this system solely exists because back then everything was purely value driven. You have value, I have value. If you meet at a compromise, then we exchange, and then everybody goes home safe and sound. Lol. Wahala no dey finish, problem no dey finish. So it's only obvious that new issues began arising after the whole, barter system came up to save the day. Barter system now was created just to solve the problem of value exchange. But then look at the problems that were existing right after the problem was solved. First off, measurement of value. People found it so hard to measure value, especially when I'm coming with something and you're coming with another thing. To just get the exact transferable worth was like so hard to do, and people like couldn't just vibe with it anymore. So now secondly, we are talking about the double coincidence of wants. This situation typically arises when I want something and then you want the same thing. Situations like this mainly occur especially when you're dealing with products that follow seasonal variations. Like say for instance now, if it's cold season now, everybody wants to, get a sweater or get something. So if you're going to the marketplace during those periods of trade by barter, everybody now is looking for sweaters. Everybody now is looking for something to keep them warm and keep them safe and comfy, get that kind of thing. So I've already established the problems associated with trade by barter system were just getting too much. So people now had to rack their brains to think of another way to solve this particular problem, and that gave birth to the coming of money. So now my co-host is going to take it from here, and she's going to tell you guys all about the financial system.
I'm going to be taking you on the financial system. So this will be more of a financial history. So please bear with me. As my partner have said, the trade by barter system was a solution that was meant to solve the problem of value exchange. The problem of value exchange existed when people couldn't measure their value, they couldn't exchange it properly, and sometimes you can get cases of double coincidence of wants, as my partner have already explained. In response to this problem, civilization came into place and needed to create a source for value exchange. This now gave birth to the rise of money. In the olden days, money was seen as cowries, silver, gold, and other metals that were valuable for value exchange. Then a new problem arises because gold and other metals are very hard to be transported, are very heavy to be transported from one place to another. There are several cases of banditry activities because the gold are stolen from the owners. So in response to this problem, the wealthy merchants decided to take their gold and other valuable metals and secure them in places to keep them safe. Places like the Song Dynasty in China, the Renaissance in Italy, they take their items and they secure them in a secret vault, and then their keepers, people that watch over the gold, they issue them receipts for the gold. In a nutshell now, this was how money was created. Instead of this wealthy merchant to start transferring their gold from one merchant to another, they just show the person the receipt notes. So they are saying that, okay, this is the worth of the gold that I have locked up in a secured vault for you. I'm just going to transfer this particular amount of gold to your name. So this was how money was brought about. Money came about through what we call receipts note. This was how it came about. Do you understand the whole idea? In all these things, another problem evolved. Gold was in limited supply. So these wealthy merchants now will start giving out money that they don't have. They will start giving out money notes that they don't have because gold was in limited supply. So that's another problem that evolved. Now, as usual, the government have to step in to solve this problem. So they started creating money. They started printing out money. But now there's another issue now because the money that they were printing now, they had to tie it to a fixed amount of gold. So this is it. The money can only be in circulation depending on the amount of gold that is in the particular area. So this is it now. A particular amount of money is fixed to a kind of gold. That is what we call gold standard. The amount of gold a country will have will determine the amount of money in circulation or the value of the money. So this became a problem because some countries don't have money, and in the state of crisis, these countries cannot spend money that they would want to spend because their gold is not enough. So that was another problem that came. Now the government had to step in again and decided to unlink dollar from gold. So the gold was not backing dollar anymore. Dollar was backed by nothing apart from public trust and military might by the government that were using it. So the amount of dollar now in circulation in the country is not tied down to any particular kind of gold. Do you get the whole idea? Oh, this is getting interesting. Now, this is where it really gets interesting. We solved the previous problem by detaching the value of a country's currency to its existing assets. Now, another problem had to arise because other countries started printing in more money than they need. Money to solve debt, money to solve problems, and the rest of them. So this is it. Because money was not backed by any physical assets, it was just backed by public trust and whatever. Other countries started printing in more money, and this is it. The more amount of money that is being printed in a country, it devalues the country's currency, and this leads to a problem we all know as inflation. I hope this is really getting interesting. I hope you're following me. So now, because of there was excess money in the economy, this leads to a problem whereby you leave your money in the bank for a long period of time, and when you take it out, it loses its value because money are being printed every day, every day. So people had to look for a solution to this, and this was when they had to start investing their money. So investment now was the solution to this particular problem. Investment was the solution to inflation. Do you get it? Yeah, we can go on and on to explain this for you, but I just hope that I was able to explain how system work in a particular segment, in this case for the finance segment. And see you in the next video. Okay, bye.
Welcome back. Now you've got the whole idea of the financial system at a macroeconomic level. Now let me give you guys one example. Now let's watch this video.
Hi everybody, I'm Nicola Tangen, the CEO of the Norwegian Sovereign Wealth Fund, and today I have a real pleasure sitting down with Aliko Dangote. Warm welcome.
Thank you very much, Nicola.
It's a pleasure having you.
It's great to be here.
How did it all start?
My first import of sugar was actually in 1980.
Wow.
You know, and everything was under import license, so I got a license.
I mean, your family had been into trading for several generations, right?
Several generations.
Your grandfather?
From the maternal side. My mom's grandfather, they call him Al Hassan Dantata. He was actually even trading, you know, Nigeria, Ghana, you know, and he died in 1955 before I was born. But he was the richest West African at that time, during his time. And of course, my own late grandfather, Sanusi Dantata, he was actually the richest Nigerian too at some
And you
point.
grew up with your grandfather?
I grew up with my grandfather because my father died when I was just about 8 years old. You know, so but
and was it your grandfather who
yes, was my
taught you how to trade?
Who taught me how to trade. He sent me to school and this, but I never ever grew with my father. I've never stayed with my father, you know, because when I was born, I was the first grandson. You know, in our tradition, first grandchild will now go and stay with the parents.
All right.
So my sister, my late sister, happened to be the first grandchild. So they took her away. And then the next was me, a boy. So they also took me away. So both me and my sister, we grew up with my own grandparents.
Wow.
Yes.
What's the...
At this point, you should be able to see the image that I'm trying to paint in your head. Your systems affect you in many more ways than you can even imagine. Take for instance, let's say we took away the social systems that existed in forms of traditions for Dangote. Keeping in mind now that it was the social system that actually warranted Dangote to go and stay with his grandparents. I don't know how different the story would have been, but I assure you it would have been different. The social system now is just one out of the how many systems that we're talking about. Now let me just give you a list of them. Look at his credit system. When I'm talking about credit system, now I'm talking about his financial backing. Keeping that one aside, now look at his network system. Who did he say his dad was? Who did he say his granddad was? Who did he say his great granddad was? Obviously, man, the network system is going to run deep. Look at the regulatory system that were governing his business. He had to pay for some licenses, and who knows how favorable they were back then. And I'm not necessarily saying that everything are rich, but then again, like, you get what I'm trying to say. More, it goes to show, I can keep listing and I can keep going on and on, but then this just goes to show how your systems greatly affect you and how they affect your outcome. So typically, what I'm trying to drive from right now is that if you actually have a goal, not necessarily just financial goals, but if you actually have a goal of any standard or any parameter, you actually have to pay attention to the systems that exist around you. You cannot be telling me that you want to go to school and then you want to ace your papers, but then the systems around you are like literally existing to distract you from reading your books. Then I don't really see how you're going to meet up with the goals that you have set for yourself. So typically, your systems play a huge role in your success and who you become at the end of the day. So please and please, I urge all of us to please study your systems and know how you can take advantage of them. So now this series will not be complete if we don't talk about the functionality and the effects of good systems. So a good system now would make an average person perform excellently, whereas a bad system on the other hand would make an excellently skilled person perform poorly. So now that we've established what systems are, what happens when a system steps into a society and decides that it is there to stay? Institutions are built, and that's what we're going to be covering up in our next video. So you guys should stay tuned. I'll see you next week.